Bye.
Thank you. Welcome to the Discipline Matrix Ad Hoc. It is Wednesday, 6:06, and we operate weekly from 6 to 8 p.m. Hoping that we will have more community voice, but excited to welcome Deacon Reginald Lyles, as well as Deputy Chief Hubbard and Vice Chair Ricardo Garcia Acosta, excuse me. I am your chair, Regina Jackson, and hopefully we will be joined by a few others. We have a slight update, and so I'm going backwards to go forward. We did finally get some comments from the monitor on the racial profiling policy. I will have Deputy Chief Hubbard send you the one paragraph highlighted language. But I didn't think that it was, negative or not in keeping with our general flavor. And since we were kind of pressed for time to get it into this meeting, this week's agenda, well, tomorrow's meeting agenda, forgive me for taking the liberty of sending it straight through. What we are doing is keeping the cultural accountability statement exactly where we were. And forgive me, I'm going to mute because the chair is calling me. Okay, sorry, she will be joining us a little later. I wanted to just give the highlight that there is a short paragraph addition from the IMT that I thought was, within keeping. If for some reason, once Deputy Chief Hubbard shares it, you have some problem with it, you let me know and we will strike the language during tomorrow's meeting. Otherwise, I just wanted to be fully transparent and let you know that they were very, very late in giving the feedback, which is why it didn't make it into an advanced conversation. And I hope you all will give me grace. But if you have a significant challenge with that, please, we're happy to talk about it. Okay, I'm going to take your silence as tacit permission. And if somebody wants to follow up with me later offline, please feel free. Like I said, we were really pushed against the wall in trying to get it all together. And what I did was Deputy Chief Hubbard had put it in with highlighting, and I just sent it through to Micah. So I'm hoping that that's going to work out okay. And like I said, if it doesn't, please raise it with me, and I will strike it in the midst of our meeting tomorrow when it comes up for the vote. We will make the edit.
Chair Meredith, you just send it to me right now?
No. Deputy Chief sent it to you. It's in the packet.
Yes. Okay, that's what you're referring to.
What I'm saying to the ad hoc is that they didn't get to see the addition because I just sent it straight through.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
That would not be my normal modus operandi. But we were in a crunch. Remember when I had Deputy Chief send it to you? You were trying to get straight to the agenda and posting.
That's right. Got it. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Like, oh,
no, you're fine.
Okay.
No, you're fine. I just, us moving forward on a different subject and then having to deal with this late addition. I just wanted to make sure that everybody heard it from me.
Got it. Thank you.
And if it's okay, we will pivot right back to our priority subject, which is the discipline matrix. And I see that Lieutenant Durham has joined us. And I'm hoping, Lieutenant Durham, because Deputy Chief Mendoza has a pressing presentation and may or may not be able to join, that we will be able to benefit from your internal affairs subject matter expertise tonight.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does your camera not work, or can we see your face? Most everybody's on. Oh, okay. You're in your car. Got it.
No,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So with that, unless there are any other comments straight up, I'm going to hand it over to Deputy Chief Hubbard.
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna start with where we left off last week. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the preamble.
Yes.
I took everyone's input and basically we redrafted it, so I didn't even bother with the track changes. It's because I overhauled the whole thing, so it flows better. But I didn't know if you want to start with talking about that specifically.
Yeah, let's look, since it was overhauled, because when I can't sit something side by side, that I don't necessarily have a strong flavor for how we changed it. So I think if we all just take a minute, some of us have already reviewed it, but if you can kind of walk us through your reimagination.
Sure. Can you all see my screen?
It's a little small, but yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
I don't think it's okay. It's probably only my issue.
I'm going to skip to paragraph 3. So this was recommended by Deacon Lyles. We recognize that even after following the department's hiring protocols, not every individual who is successfully hired may be suited for the psychological, emotional, compassionate, and professional demands of law enforcement. When an officer's behavior, coupled with supervision, reveals repeated misconduct and progressive disciplinary actions have failed, it becomes necessary to remove the officer from the rigors and responsibilities of law enforcement.
I think that's real crisp. Thank you, Deacon Lyles.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then this one was also a recommendation by everyone about
You're welcome.
About the emotional intelligence. Okay, I didn't actually use the term emotional intelligence because I didn't want to go into it, but these are the tenets of it. So it says discipline and accountability are essential for maintaining the department's reputation and effectiveness. Personnel are encouraged to develop key personal attributes such as self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and effective communication, which are critical to navigating discipline constructively. And then these bullet points say self-awareness helps personnel reflect on their actions and identify areas for improvement. Self-regulation enables them to manage emotional responses, maintaining professionalism, even when facing discipline or feedback. Motivation drives personnel to see discipline as an opportunity for growth and development, not as a punitive measure. Empathy allows personnel to understand how their actions impact the department, their colleagues, and the community. Effective communication fosters open dialogue, ensuring that personnel use discipline for continuous improvement.
I like the way that flows. Are there some other comments?
Yeah, I would add one thing, and I don't know where it goes. Maybe it can go, in a comma behind empathy, that the officer tries to understand the perspective of the community that he serves, that he or she serves.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because
it's not
you're
just
talking about connection.
Yeah, it's not just trying to see the situation from the police standpoint, but what is the victim trying to say to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the community connection is definitely not an assumed, but absolutely a necessity.
Can I give one example? Domestic violence. You go into an apartment or a house, and then you look around and it's disheveled, and there's no wounds or anything, but you can see that a female is distraught, and you ask her, "Are you okay?" And she says, "I'm fine." She's not fine.
Right?
She's been abused probably for hours. And so that's where the empathy comes in. I can see it from your perspective, even though I'm not a female. I'm trying to.
Yeah, the question all by itself, you know, we have to get away from yes and no questions, because oftentimes when people are frustrated or upset or whatever, they just say yes to stop communicating about it,
Right.
when that's not really, yeah, I get that.
You'd have been a great sergeant.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Durham, any thoughts on these additions?
I agree. I know we had belabored these quite a bit the last meeting, and I think you know, I see where Deputy Chief Hubbard has put in a lot of work to making sure that this preamble really articulates what we want our officers and staff doing and how we want them operating inside of the police department and with community. So I do like the additions. As I'm, you know, reading it, I'm just trying to think of if there's anything that I feel like it's missing, but I don't think it's missing anything at this point.
And Ricardo, I know you are community voice times 10. Is it landing for you?
Yeah, so far I'm all right with it.
You all right? Does it need more?
I think I'm okay right now.
Okay, all right. Well, then we can move forward and like you do, Deputy Chief, you know, you can look to wordsmith that particular addition.
Certainly. Okay, I guess this is the final sentence of that paragraph. By embracing these qualities, discipline fosters personal responsibility, professional development, and public trust within the department.
Should we add within the department and the community?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Oh, and thank you. We are welcoming Chair Peterson. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This is as early as I can get here, guys. I get off from my little side hustle at 6.
We are happy to receive you. We were just reviewing the fact that Deputy Chief kind of overhauled all the feedback and was representing it to us, especially if there are those that didn't remember what we started with. So I just asked him to take us through the whole thing.
Okay, these paragraphs remain the same. I go into the law enforcement code of conduct, code of ethics, and then also off-duty conduct. I know we talked about that last week. I'll go ahead and read this. Off-duty conduct that negatively impacts the department's reputation or impairs the ability to perform professional responsibilities will be subject to review. This includes criminal behavior or public actions that discredit the department. Personnel must remain mindful of their conduct and its potential perception by the public, always exercising self-restraint and professionalism.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Before you go forward, Deacon Lyles just added something in the chat to add to that section where we talked about the community.
Certainly. I think I can pull it up here.
Well, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure, I'm trying to make it easy for you as well to just copy paste where you can.
Got it.
But to the point about, behavior outside of the office, so to speak. Honestly, I really believe, I used to use this tenet with our youth leaders at the East Oakland Youth Development Center. It was like leadership isn't a jacket that you just put on, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. It's an innate part of your DNA. And so much like the expectation will be for you to not get, rowdy and drunk and whatever it is, that these are the same expectations we would have of officers, because sometimes they are off duty and find themselves in circumstances where they have to get involved. And you just cannot run the risk that, somehow your off-duty behavior is going to visit you on duty, or, make a bad impression on community if you are off duty and find yourself needing to act professionally. So I don't know if anybody might think that that's an unfair assumption, that people that do this kind of job they show up this way 24/7.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. We certainly instilled that in the academy. And again, I think I mentioned this last week where a lot of recruits believe that it's like, oh, I only have to these code of ethics conduct only applies to when I'm at work and I put on the uniform. And we emphasize it's moreover when you're off duty and the public is still watching you because they know who you are. And
That's
we
right.
instill that we still have very early in the academy where if they have any negative interaction with the community, mainly the police, but the community, they have to report it to their recruit training officer and we address it immediately.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, for those of you listening, we have the Uber training leader par excellence, Deputy Chief Hubbard. That's his reputation for leading awesome academies and planting those seeds to ensure that officers will be excellent. So we got the cream of the crop working with us on the policy. Thank you.
Very much.
Mhm.
Okay, we did address this last week, but I think I added some verbiage here. All personnel, whether officers or professional staff, and maybe I should pause there. So the one thing that I had to do was our manual of rules, the thing that we're talking about tonight, apply equally to all personnel. So that's police officers and our professional staff. However, the code of ethics or the code of conduct that is written by the state of California and officers raise their right hand to when they graduate, that only applies to sworn personnel. So I had to find a hybrid of how I construct this because what I don't want is, 3 years from now, a professional staff member saying, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I'm not a police officer, so I can misbehave off duty.
Right.
Similarly, an officer saying, well, I'm not a professional staff member. So I had to find common ground. And I hope I did that throughout this, but there might be some room for improvement. So that's why you see a little bit difference here. So all personnel, whether officers or professional staff, have a duty to intervene if they witness misconduct. This includes reporting unethical or unlawful actions through established reporting procedures, such as informing supervisors, contacting internal affairs, capitalize that, sorry, or using anonymous reporting channels. Officers and staff must report misconduct as soon as practicable. And if the chain of command is compromised, alternate reporting procedures must be followed. As I read this out loud, I think I need to probably quote the policy, so I'm going to fix that. Failure to intervene or report misconduct is a violation of department standards and undermines the organization's integrity. So I'm going to put in here the actual language of the policy so there's no confusion. Okay.
Lieutenant Hubbard,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Chief, Chair Peterson has her hand up.
Yes.
Well, when you say alternative reporting procedures must be followed, DGOM03, are those alternative reporting policies or procedures, or is that, what is that? What exactly, when you reference that?
Yeah, no, thank you. It's our complaint taking policy. There are alternative measures in there of reporting misconduct. So if my immediate supervisor, who I normally would report to, is involved in the misconduct, I'm not going to report to them. There's instruction in there about contacting the watch commander in internal affairs. So there's alternate routes that I
Okay.
can take.
So it's alternative reporting procedures under DGM03 must be
That's
followed.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll actually quote the policy just so there's no confusion there. Okay, the next paragraph we did talk about last week about adding, this has to do with creating a safe environment. So the Oakland Police Department is committed to creating a safe environment where personnel can report misconduct without fear of retaliation. The department will take all reasonable measures to protect those who report misconduct in line with state and federal whistleblower protection laws. Retaliation will not be tolerated, and those who engage in such behavior will face disciplinary action. The department will also monitor compliance with anti-retaliation measures to maintain the integrity of the reporting process.
Just, I can't see hands. If anybody wants to jump out there and make an observation, please do. Does anybody want to add anything to the language?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Lieutenant Hubbard, can you give an example of where a line like patrol officer may have reported something that the sergeant or training officer engaged in, and how do you practically protect their rights and engender in them a sense of doing this without fear of retaliation? I mean, how
Yeah.
does this really happen that, officers feel comfortable enough to come forward and report misconduct, either by someone on, at their rank or higher?
Certainly, and I'll ask Captain Dorham to kind of clean up what go ahead, Captain Dorham. You know this.
So the first thing that I want to acknowledge is that that's a very, very powerful and valid point. I think one thing that we've tried to do inside of internal affairs and just addressing accountability throughout the department is having real conversations. And there's a way to address the moral and ethical issues that come up when you're reporting misconduct at all different levels without interrupting the integrity of the case. And that's what we try to do. We try to make sure that we provide support to members that are coming forward to report and address misconduct, regardless of the type of misconduct. And so I think it comes down to just being a human being, having that conversation and letting people know, like, hey, I know this might be difficult. I understand that there might be some fear associated with addressing this, and having them advise of some of the things that they are concerned about. And what we do see sometimes is people making those advisements. Hey, this is kind of what I'm concerned about, and this is what I don't want to have happen. And we take a very, very, very proactive approach to making sure that we do not put people in situations that we know from the onset are going to create adversity for them while maintaining the integrity of the case. Every scenario and situation is different. So addressing each allegation, each complaint, it requires a level of care and concern. And so I don't want to say that there's necessarily a blanket approach to everything, but our command staff is dedicated and committed to making sure that the evaluations of these cases include making sure that those that are coming forward to report misconduct are protected within the law and policy.
Thank you.
And just so if I can add to that, I want to talk about the process because every day there's an internal affairs log that is produced for commanders to see. And it's easy to log complaints without the name of the person reporting it to be provided. And really, when briefed to the chief of police, which is done by internal affairs almost daily for something, they are very good about, one, making sure that those in the room have a need to know, a right to know. Usually the city attorney is there also listening in. We remove names, we remove gender, we remove race, just because we do not want there to be any crossover to those who report it, but also the subjects of the investigation. So there's a lot of intent behind that to make sure that that wall is there. And then there are also anonymous ways for members, employees to report via a phone call, via an email, to where their name can be removed.
Additionally, there's assessments of the case that are made by commanders along the way, updates to ensure that we're making sure that the reporting employees are making sure that the reporting employees are not put in scenarios and situations that give those that might not have their best interests in mind, giving them unreasonable access to them. So if we get a complaint where we know by the description of the complaint and the allegations that maybe someone shouldn't fall under someone's chain for a certain duration of time or while the investigation is occurring, we provide those briefs and updates to the chief and make movements so that we can make sure people are protected and make sure that the integrity of the case is in compromise.
Okay, thank
Thank you.
Okay. There is a section on here about due process rights. I have to put employees also here. Discipline actions will respect employees, officers' due process rights, including the right to be informed of allegations, to present evidence, and to appeal decisions. Similarly, professional staff are entitled to fair and transparent disciplinary proceedings that adhere to department policies.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're talking about accused officers, right? We're not talking about every employee that's a police officer in the building, right? We're saying that if the accused officer has some due process rights, but another officer who is not involved in the case, don't know anything about the case, they have no right to know any of the details, right?
That's right. This is not.
So when you have the second, including the right to be informed of allegations, one could read this and make, and I know we don't because we know how it works, but the person may think, well, you mean every officer has a right to know the allegation that happens? They don't have any right to know the allegation that doesn't concern them.
Right.
Only the accused officer.
I see what you're right. I got it. I will fix that. That makes sense.
That way there's no misunderstanding there. Because, people who, "Oh, I'm his union representative, I have a right to know." No, you don't have any right to know.
Right.
And we don't have a right to tell you anything.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. I'll fix that. This is something we talked about last week, just about really, I think, the overall vision of this manual, which is to correct behavior. The department is committed to supporting personnel through training programs, workshops, and resources that promote the development of essential attributes such as self-awareness, empathy, and emotional management. In addition, the department recognizes the importance of mental health and well-being and will provide access to counseling services and stress management resources.
I like that.
Okay. The department values diversity, equity, and inclusion, and is committed to ensuring that all personnel and community members are treated with respect and fairness. Discriminatory behavior will not be tolerated, and all personnel are expected to contribute to a work environment that upholds the department's non-discrimination standards.
Yep.
Okay. All right, last two paragraphs here. The policies outlined in this manual will be enforced. I should change probably policies. That doesn't really make sense. Will be enforced through established disciplinary procedures. Depending on the severity of the offense, officers or professional staff can violate them, resulting in consequences ranging from corrective action to termination.
Wait a minute, depending on the severity of the offense, officers or professional staff can violate them.
That doesn't read right.
No,
Yeah.
You want to say sometimes violate them?
no. You don't want that can. Isn't it?
No. That can is out of there.
Yeah,
May sometime, I don't know.
who violate them.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
May-
I'll fix
may-
it.
No,
I'm not thinking.
may be disciplined up to and including termination.
That's the right English. I was trying to
Yeah,
get it out.
direct.
That's
Mhm.
it. May.
That's it.
May be disciplined up to
And including.
and including.
Mhm. Good catch, good catch.
Sorry, may be disciplined
Up to and including termination.
to and including termination. Got it. Okay, great. All right, and the final paragraph here is adhering to these principles creates a culture where ethical conduct and accountability guide decision-making at every level. As our commitment to community policing grows, these values ensure that the Oakland Police Department remains a trusted guardian of public safety. Together, we uphold our mission to serve, protect, and foster mutual trust between the department and the community.
Okay. Now, this is the
Robert.
preface,
Lieutenant
The
Hubbard,
is.
preamble. Mhm.
preamble.
yeah, let's go back to the up to and concluding determination. After officers, you want the word ARE, right? Are professionals who violate them maybe, am I
Well-
reading it wrong?
No,
I
you're
meant
reading it right.
professional
We got a
staff.
problem.
Or professional staff? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it makes sense to me. All right.
Thank you for that. So that's the preamble that
Looks good.
goes into the manual of rules. I will fix the issues that we talked about and I'll send it back out for review.
So let's continue on our next section.
Okay, pull this up here. All right, the mission stayed the same. Again, the issue with this is the mission, vision. For those who don't remember from last week, the values, those remain consistent because that is a statement for the entire department, not specific to this policy. Again, I don't know if Chief Mitchell has any ambition to change this, as most new chiefs do. This has not been changed since Chief Armstrong, and actually many years before that has not remained changed. So we'll see. So as it is, it is what it is. But I did put in parentheses, as requested, some clarification. So under vision, I'll go ahead and start from the top here. We will work in partnership with our community, recognize the successes of our staff, build a team of professionals who are trained and developed to provide top quality service, hold ourselves and each other accountable, and continually seek to be the exemplar for 21st century constitutional policing. And in parentheses, did my best to define it: policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights, fostering community trust, ensuring transparency, accountability, and using evidence-based practices to reduce crime fairly and effectively. And then it goes on: community engagement and positive employee morale within the police profession.
I like the parens. I feel like you captured every component, and buttress the value of community trust and evidence-based practices.
Thank you.
Other comments on that? I really like how you guys put, in short, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to lead.
Yeah.
Continually.
Okay.
Why do you need a paren? Why don't you just say, and continually seek to be the exemplar for 21st century constitutional policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights? You don't have to have that policing again, but just say policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights, fostering community trust, ensuring transparency, accountability, and using evidence-based practices to reduce crime fairly and effectively. Somehow that community engagement and positive employee morale within the police profession kind of hangs out there.
Yeah.
After having all of this.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. The reason why it's in parentheses is just because this is an addition we're making to the originally published vision statement in our department. Our current vision statement does not have this section in yellow. So I didn't want, it's not that it's going to confuse people, but it would read differently, if you will.
So why don't you, is it possible then we will work in partnership with our community, recognize the successes of our staff, build a team of professionals who are trained and developed to provide top quality service, adhere to or seek community engagement and positive employee morale within the police profession, and continually seek to be the exemplar for 21st constitutional policing, and to have all of this, and that ends there. In other words, kind of make all of this parenthetical be the last part of what you say with a period.
I have no objection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And a period at the end of the yellow statement. It just somehow reads a little bit better.
Sure. Yep, I don't disagree. Okay.
And I don't know that, excuse me, and I'm a literature major, so this is why I get crazy.
Yeah.
Instead of parentheses, why don't you just do a dash? Policing,
Because a parent makes it like a second thought.
thought, yeah,
Forward thought.
yeah.
And we want to raise this part up to the original statement. It with your explanation in yellow is the strongest of the statements.
Yes.
Correct.
It makes it clear. So it shouldn't be a side
Parenthetic.
thought,
Mhm.
but principal thought. Policing engagement and positive employee morale within the police profession continue to seek exemplary 21st century confidential policing. Policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights. Yeah. And using evidence-based. Yes, I like that.
Okay. All right. Moving down to values, it's somewhat the similar situation, so we might have to recraft this, but we talked a lot about service to the truth. So I'll read it. Though it includes, so this is under integrity, though it includes a consistency between our statements and actions, integrity is more than service to the truth. So in parentheses, which is the commitment to uphold factual accuracy, transparency, and accountability in all aspects of our work, ensuring that our actions and decisions are grounded in honesty and a pursuit of what is right. And the rest of the definition says integrity encompasses a transparency and accountability that are born from a desire to do the right thing, even when times are difficult.
Okay, again, service to the truth is a new phrase to me. And it may not be new, it's just new to me. So when you say service to the truth, you're saying someone who's just pretending like they're telling the truth or telling half truths or being disingenuous or what? I understand integrity. Integrity is more than just, or are you saying integrity is more than just making a truthful statement or testifying truthfully on the stand? Is that what you mean by that?
Why don't we just say integrity is the commitment to uphold factual accuracy and leave out this part about is more than service to the truth?
I'm assuming he's comparing integrity to service to the truth. And integrity is one thing, service to the truth is another, but integrity is higher up, a higher value than just mere service to the truth.
I don't know what service to the truth means.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why I'm not sure that it's serving
the clarity.
Yeah, I that's why I'm saying why not just say it integrity is the commitment to uphold factual accuracy.
Or integrity is paramount, period.
Yeah, and then
integrity is paramount. It is more important than just being truthful, although, and then go on and explain.
Paramount, period. And then just say it is the commitment to uphold. I don't like this service to the truth stuff.
It means being truthful in all situations. It's a commitment to factual accuracy, transparency, accountability in all aspects of our, and I wouldn't say work, I would say law enforcement. Because that's who's, is this supposed to be for the staff in the department also?
It is, yeah. This is our overall department statement.
Okay, then I would say all phases of the department in all areas.
Yeah. I'll put it in parentheses so I can weigh that out. So again, I guess the issue is I agree with everything that is said. I tried my best to define service to the truth in the parentheses here. So if we change it to integrity is paramount, then
Is
it
that-
changes.
Is that a term of art within law enforcement?
Service to the truth.
This is the first, not to say the first time I saw it, but in our vision statement for the department, this is the first time I've seen that.
That's where you saw it first.
It is, and I don't know where it came from. Like, I don't know who the actual author behind this is, but there was, as we discussed last week, there's no definition with it. So my yellow in parentheses is my attempt to define what service to the truth is.
Mhm.
Well,
So
see,
do we-
it's vague then, and it's going to cause a
Yeah.
problem in a disciplinary situation.
Exactly.
It's vague and
We,
ambiguous.
we want to be as clear and concise as possible.
Right. If I am giving testimony in an IAD situation or on a witness stand, and I say, and I'm lying, I'm disingenuous, but I give a story that's beneficial to the accused and myself. Can I say, look, I'm serving the truth. That was truthful to me.
Yeah, those are my alternate facts.
That's how I think it is. That's what we
Yeah.
live in America now.
Yeah, this is not this would cause more problems for you.
Mhm.
Say as a practitioner, I would say I would seize upon that. Who can give a explanation of what this means? And you may get 4 or 5 different interpretations, which would tank your case. So I think you just say integrity is paramount, period. It is the commitment to uphold factual accuracy,
There you go.
transparency, and
I
accountability.
think this is a poison pill, really.
I think I'm confused. I thought the parentheses were a definition, an expansion of what service of the truth is, and then later on, integrity. Furthermore, it says integrity encompasses transparency and all the other elements that are more than just service to the truth. Am I
But why
reading
do
that
we
right?
have to have those layers? You're
But-
creating a layer that has no significance other than words. What
That's
you're
why I
really,
think it's a poison pill.
yeah,
That's why I
Gotcha.
think it's there to where the practitioner can say, okay, let me expound on this.
Yeah, and I agree that either way, too, it buries the last sentence, which is the most important one, that's talking about what integrity actually is.
Right.
Right.
So,
And
so
why
let's
is it that we
define
keep doing
integrity
that?
in the yellow and leave it at that.
Mhm.
I don't mind the last sentence. I just didn't like this other verbiage that was superfluous, in my opinion. And would
Yeah.
just create a problem in an actual arbitration.
I guess what I'm struggling with is I think I kind of get with where Lieutenant Hubbard was heading. And I guess what I'm struggling is what's wrong with calling out and saying that integrity is more than just service to the truth and just telling the truth. I mean, that's how I'm reading it, is
Mhm.
that an officer could say, oh, well, I'm being truthful, I'm not lying,
Mhm.
but at the same
No,
time
not
you're
sharing
riding
everything.
a boat in Sausalito and having wine also. That's not very great integrity, right?
Right.
In terms of the definition we're looking at. Now, if they ask him about it, he could be truthful in all aspects of it, right? But what we're
Mhm.
saying is integrity is more than just being truthful, is kind of how I'm reading that. Is that correct, Lieutenant
Yeah.
Hubbard?
That's what I asked originally. And that's what I didn't like was service to the truth. I don't know what that means.
I
But
understand.
I understand what you mean when you say integrity is more than just telling the truth. I know what
Mhm.
that is, but I
Right.
ain't never heard of service to the truth.
And then I also agree that having a definition of service to the truth in parentheses then just starts confusing and just
it adds
conflating
more
everything.
Yeah, to it.
Yeah.
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 So just say
So-
what it is.
Lieutenant
So-
Hubbard, were you trying to get to that point of that integrity is more than just telling the truth? Is that as simple as what we're trying to get at, or is there something a little more layered than that?
No, that's right. I think you're all right. Again, I didn't. We're in a weird position now because by changing this, it then changes everything else across the board because these are throughout different documents. It's not just the discipline matrix. And
Mhm.
so and maybe that's what we want to do. The chief won't be there tomorrow night at the commission meeting, but maybe tasking me, which, you know, I like, to do this, to say, hey, we're undertaking a project to relook at our entire mission statement. It gives us the flexibility to do this right.
Can I just say, this is the time.
So
to
wait
make
a
the-
minute. So-
Okay,
No, I'm sorry. Am I hearing for the first time that the chief won't be there tomorrow? Is that what you said?
You will not be there tomorrow.
Okay. And did he alert you, Chair?
No.
Okay. All right.
okay,
That's a different thing. Okay,
All
so we
right,
can get back
so-
to it now.
okay. Okay, I think it's a poison pill. And I think it's throughout the department, and now's the time to go at these particular things. This is what the judge
Right.
is saying when they have a commitment to make these gaping holes that makes it difficult to hold people accountable.
They run Mack
Mhm.
trucks through all of this kind of
You got
ambiguity.
this kind of
Oh,
language.
yeah.
You got this
Right.
kind of argumentative language that enhances the defense, no matter what the guy is accused of or woman is accused of.
Yep.
So we need to close these gaps, and this is, like I said, a poison pill, because I don't know what service to truth means, and if the officer said I was out patrolling, and he just left out the fact that he was drunk and patrolling, did he tell the truth? Yeah, he told the truth. I was out patrolling, but we got you down here for drunk driving. I'll stop there.
I will offer real quick that, you know, by maintaining definitions inside of the preamble that are identified and referred to in the general orders and manual rules, it can alleviate confusion. Like, truthfulness is defined by the department. So when an officer omits things that they should know not to omit, or ask questions and give answers that are self-serving, those things are identified and are part of the investigations when we do complete complaints. So I just want to make that clear. Like, the ambiguity about what truthfulness means at any point in time, as far as it relates to internal affairs complaints, it's defined.
Well, all due respect, it may be defined, but it's not applied in the disciplinary process, because here we are now. And we have chapter and verse of cases where folks have not been held accountable for this and that, to the extreme that you got a Superior Court judge saying, I don't believe they're able to discipline themselves. And every one of these issues are won on cases like this. These kind of ambiguous words or clauses, or what does he really mean by that? It could have a double meaning. Okay, we lose the case. Okay, we drop the case. That's been what the history in the last 20 years have been. That's the history. I know it's hard to face, but we can't fix it unless we face it.
Oh, I'm not arguing it. Trust me, I face it. I'm just saying that we can be held to that standard, and we can be held accountable for not being truthful. And I agree with you completely. I'm just saying that what truthfulness is defined inside of the policy, and I think having that in the preamble will make it very, very clear to officers and those reading it what the standard is. So I do agree with you on that front.
And I'm gonna say that in this integrity statement, it's ambiguous as I'm reading it. The way it was written before the yellow, service to the truth. Integrity is more than service to the truth.
I'll give you an example. I remember reading whatever.
Maybe just making it, maybe just making it easier, and just like what Chair Peterson said, just keeping it at integrity and adding truthfulness or honesty in there might just clear it up. Just taking the ambiguity out of that other language and taking out service to the truth as a whole, so that it doesn't have to be, you don't have these other definitions that might creep up.
That's what we're suggesting. You're making our point. That's what we said. Integrity is paramount, period.
Because
You're making an argument.
Yeah.
Remember in the Tran case, he was cleared at the IAD level because they said they thought he was honest when he said that he didn't know, since it wasn't written in the rules, that he couldn't use his own personal funds to pay an informant.
That's appalling.
And to me,
Right.
that's an example of service to the truth. So they felt he was really giving service to the truth, and it was okay. They cleared him. So when you have googly gobbly stuff like service to the truth, I think that it creates enough of ambiguity that allows an officer to evade accountability.
All you need is a sliver of light, and this is a garage door open. You know,
we are in agreement. I completely
and I
agree.
don't want anyone here who's in law enforcement to think that you know, it has nothing to do with anyone here. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're just talking about history. We're just talking about documented facts. And so we got to do something different. We have to do something dramatically different. If it means, like Deputy Chief Hubbard said, if it means, well, maybe we need to rewrite the whole thing. Okay. We might have to do that if we're going to get this right.
Yep.
Marcia, you gave the example. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we are all in agreement now. And to the extent that changing this language could impact language and other policies, you know, it might make sense to have that be a part of the conversation that you're going to have with the chief. You know, around, if you're going to do things differently, then do it thoroughly too.
What is this last part? Even when times are difficult.
Especially when times are difficult. That's the only time it really matters.
Well, maybe even in difficult situations.
I mean, I always like the old adage of integrity is when you're doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
That's right.
Or in OPD's
That's
case,
right.
when they think nobody's looking.
Okay, because somebody's always looking.
I think one time Reggie gave us an example of you pull up to a red light and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you sit until you get a green light, or do you proceed? Because nobody's coming. Cross traffic, you know. But the right thing is to still obey the traffic rules. So that's not a difficult situation, but people find themselves wanting to get around stuff if they can. That's all I can say.
Sure.
Okay, let's keep going at 7:05. What time is this? ad hoc finish?
Yeah.
Is 2 hours? 8, okay.
Mhm.
Just so I'm clear, and just I'll go back up to the top here. Are we proposing that we look at all of these now, the mission, vision, values, all the way down to the amending all of them?
Well, I
Yeah.
guess we've opened the door to editing, right?
Yep. And we want to make it different, and certainly a whole bunch of people are going to see the discipline matrix. And if that doesn't continue to underscore the cultural transformation and accountability that we seek, that we demand, I don't know what does.
Yeah, certainly. Again, I probably need to look through our files and see how many of documents this influences.
Uh-huh.
I guess, excuse me if I feel uncomfortable just because the chief's not here to tell me, because I don't know if this is something that he has a different vision for about what it looks like, but
No,
that's why
one we understand, and we're obviously just going through some processes. I think that the chair has a fairly um, a, a fairly consistent meeting cadence with the chief, and maybe she can ask him, what he thinks about this statement. But to your point, if it impacts 100 policies, what does that mean, right? Or I don't know, change them as you get to them. I don't know. But we can't necessarily give you that direction because we have no idea either. So let's
I'm
keep going. Go ahead.
not so concerned about the policies that would change because it is what it is. But this essentially will be on our website. I mean, there's definitely a training component to it because during inspections, sometimes with officers, we have watch commanders who ask, "Hey, what's the mission and vision of the Oakland Police Department?" And so there's positive reinforcements that go with it. So I'm not so worried about each policy is going to change, but it does have a positive ripple effect on.
Sure.
This is the brand of the Oakland Police Department, if you will.
Mhm.
So we would, a lot of forward facing publicity with this. So that's why.
Sure. I understand. We will, at whatever point we get down the road and chief gives us input, we will take it and we'll determine how we want to proceed.
All right. That actually was the only sections that were recommended within this document to change. Since we're on the subject, we can continue. We can go back up to the top and look at it further, or we can go through each one of these if you want, just to see if there are any additional edits.
Why don't we go back up to the top just to make sure that the flow and all also works?
Okay, so we'll start with the mission. Again, this was recrafted under Chief Armstrong, so 4 years ago. The Oakland Police Department's mission is to provide police service focused on public safety and the sanctity of life, to hold ourselves accountable to a high standard of conduct, efficiency, and efficacy, and to promote mutual respect between the department and the community of Oakland.
That still works.
Okay. I'll let everyone digest that for a second. Okay, for vision, I'll go ahead and say this again. This is just in case. We will work in partnership with our community, recognize the successes of our staff, build a team of professionals who are trained and developed to provide top quality service, hold ourselves and each other accountable, community engagement and positive employee morale within the police profession, and continually seek to be the exemplar for 21st century constitutional policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights, fostering community trust, ensuring transparency, accountability, and using evidence-based practices to reduce crime fairly and effectively.
Okay, there's something wrong.
It is, yeah. I read that out loud.
We will work in partnership with our community, recognize the success of our staff, build a team of professionals who are trained and developed to provide top quality service, hold ourselves and each other accountable. What is the word that goes
Yeah.
with for community engagement?
Value?
Yes, so you need a word like that. Value, community engagement, and something positive, employee morale, pursue or practice.
Enhance.
Okay, but it has to be a word there in front of positive.
Enhance positive employee morale, or encourage.
Encourage is a better word. Encourage positive employee morale within the department and continually seek to be, okay. Okay. Now, if you want to read it again, I think it'll read better.
Yep, certainly. We'll work in partnership with our community, recognize the successes of our staff, build a team of professionals who are trained and developed to provide top quality service, hold ourselves and each other accountable, value community engagement, and encourage positive employee morale within the police profession, and continually seek to be the exemplar for 21st century constitutional policing
Period.
that is
After policing, it ought to be a period, because that sentence is very long.
It
Okay.
is.
Yeah. And then let's go with the second sentence here. Maybe what goes in front of policing. Or we believe policing, or we strive for policing that is grounded in protecting constitutional rights, fostering community trust, assurance, transparency, accountability, and using evidence-based practice to reduce crime fairly and effectively. There you go, 2 sentences.
Okay, but I'm going to use a stronger word than strive.
Okay.
Can we say let's see, we strive for
We expect, we demand.
Ooh. That means you really want to be fair.
Okay.
And
are we endeavor to engage in policing?
No, endeavor, that's like, that's
Okay,
Mickey-Mashi.
okay,
Let's be real straight.
okay. Well then,
Or we want, we expect, we
Desire.
require, desire.
no.
Yeah, but desire is almost like you can make a choice not to.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I'm saying be a little more aggressive with the language. It doesn't have to be demand, but it has to be firm.
Yes.
We undertake.
That's
Mm,
but not yet. We practice policing.
Require?
Okay.
yeah, we require.
require.
Thank you. That is very clear.
Yeah, it's already been decided. We require.
Yeah. I feel like it's a football game and we're passing the ball, and here comes Brian right up the middle.
Right.
policing. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we require this.
Yes, Lord. Mm-hmm.
And the statement at the end, in short, we will be leaders in the transformation of policing in the U.S.
There you go.
That's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Values, it has the acronym of FIRST. So the first one is fairness. We value fairness in our dealings with the community and with each other. Fairness is the opportunity to deliver services to our community and make decisions that are impartial, equitable, and just. I'm glad that we're talking about this. So I'll give you all context. So if you remember the Hillard Hines study, and it's attached to Task 45 of the negotiated
Yeah.
settlement agreement, there were allegations made, and I know Captain Durham will probably agree that internally there are a lot of complaints just about the fairness of discipline and the fairness of how we treat each other. It's not just, I mean, there's an expectation that we're fair and respectful to the community, but oftentimes our employees don't feel that internally here. We published a survey a couple years ago that kind of reinforced our beliefs on that, and we're actually planning another one, a survey to go out to our employees. So this one certainly plays a role in our decision making for discipline, but also the follow up with it, where we can say, hey, you know, you say fairness here, but are you fair when you hand out discipline? So I can just tell you internally that this is a big statement right here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I follow this, and you're right, 100%. But with this statement here, it really is alluding to the situation that you just described. But we can add a clause on it regardless of rank. And we hit it right on it.
Yeah.
Because that's what the argument was about. That
Yeah.
line officers get disciplined,
Mhm.
ranking officers doing the same thing do not.
Mm.
That's where the unfairness argument came through.
Mm-hmm.
Any disagreement with that?
Mm-mm.
No, sir.
I like that. Are you saying that at the end here, or?
Yeah, and just regardless of rank or status. Now, if I'm an officer reading that, I'll go, okay, they heard us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, everybody.
Okay. All right, thank you. I think we talked enough about integrity. Are we good with that paragraph?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, respect. Mutual respect begins at home. We value respect throughout our organization, both up and down the chain of command. How we treat each other will be reflected in the way every staff member will be expected to treat every member of our community.
Now, this mutual respect begins at home sounds kind of cliche.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it has a place here. So I wouldn't have that. I would just begin with, we value respect throughout our organization.
Hey everyone, I'm really sorry. I had to run to the bathroom real fast, but as we're moving on from integrity, I know I was kind of saying it in jest and joking around, but I really feel like in addition to difficult situations, we should add when nobody is looking or when they think nobody's looking. So something of that nature. Because again, going back to, I hate to keep using this example, but folks on a boat in Tiburon or wherever that was in some bay outside of Oakland, that wasn't a difficult situation. That was just people thinking.
I think you mean, and when no one is watching.
And when no one is watching, yeah.
Or when.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, anything else under respect? You remove mutual respect begins at home.
I think that reads pretty well.
Well, okay, you got chain of command. So those are sworn officers. But this goes out to the building, right?
Yeah.
So should
good
we
point.
say both sworn and non-sworn?
Yep.
We can't. Yeah, the chain of command does apply to even our professional staff. Our
Okay.
professional staff members do report to either sworn or a professional staff member that have a chain of command.
Okay. All right, I didn't know that. All right, good.
Yeah. But as you say that, I just want to make sure that all employees throughout our organization.
Comma, chain of
Value.
command, comma, sworn and non.
I'm sorry. I was looking at
I was
the and
saying
part.
we value and respect all employees throughout our organization, both up and down the chain of command, comma, both sworn and non-sworn, period. Okay.
And staff member is generic enough to include sworn officers, right?
Yeah, it says, yeah, all employees here, and then both sworn and professional staff.
That's speaking to
every staff. I don't know why I don't like the word staff member or the phrase. I don't know why this sentence reads. I think it's the two words will. How we treat each other will be reflected. There's a lot of W's there.
Will be reflected in the way employees
Why doesn't it just say
are.
we treat each other is reflected in the way is reflected in the way every employee is expected to treat every member? How we treat each other is reflected in the way every employee is expected
Oh, God, it's still.
to be treated. Is reflected in the way every employee is expected to treat one another. It's just really wordy.
It, I can see.
How we treat each other is reflected in the way every employee is expected. Is this kind of like do unto others as we would want others
Yeah.
to?
Yes,
exactly
it's
what I got.
exactly that. Mhm.
Yeah.
The way we're saying it is.
But it just
Is-
sounds gobbledygook because there's so many words.
I
Yeah.
know.
We require to treat each other and the community with respect.
Yeah. 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 That's really the gist of it.
It did sound a little churchy there, didn't it?
I know.
Mm.
But then when I realized what we were really trying to get
Yeah.
to is the golden rule.
Although we're using respect in the definition, we're using the word in the definition. Does that matter?
Well,
Hey,
yeah,
it's
it
another word
does.
for respect.
It does. The first rule of defining a word is not to use the word.
Yes. So what's a synonymous word for respect?
Aretha.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm being silly.
Mutual respect is required or you know, well, the word is the word. Let's see. Respect is, we haven't defined respect, have we? That's
Well,
interesting.
I guess that was my point, because we say respect twice in the definition
Yeah.
of respect.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
see, there's Ricardo running the ball right up the middle.
Respect
Yeah, I
is,
guess.
well, respect is the due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others.
I mean, actually, Lieutenant Hubbard, is this more just of an explanation and not necessarily a definition?
Yeah. Well, it's a value, right? So it's not really defining what respect is.
Correct.
It's like
Okay,
we
yeah, okay.
value the term respect, and here's what that
We're
means
further
to us.
expounding on what this respect means.
Yeah, because we
rather
do
than
say it here. We
actual
value
definition.
and respect all employees. I don't know if anyone's going to challenge whether they know or understand the word respect.
Okay, I think I kind of recant my comment. I mean, I guess I was reading it more as a definition, and I was like, oh, it's kind of weird we're saying the same word in the definition of the word, of that said word. But if we're just kind of giving more of a further explanation of that word itself, expounding on the value itself, I mean, I'm just having other trouble wordsmithing another word to replace that with. Is that consistent with the rest of them? Like the service, do we reference service multiple times as well too? In service value.
Right, we shouldn't.
I mean, we say it a lot, like fairness. Yeah, we say it
Integrity as well
twice.
too. Yeah, okay, so I'm reading them less as than they're not necessarily definitions, they're more, I don't know, further descriptions of the word. I guess because respect was just so short that it just stood out more. Integrity.
At the
Yeah.
end, when we added when no one is watching, I think it's not and or, it should be or. But you know what? Honestly, I've been up against some really tricky, clever folk. This is it's certainly not a limiting definition here. When it's difficult or when no one is watching. They were watching and I told a lie anyway. I don't know. We value and respect all employees throughout our both up and down the chain of command. Oh, we require to treat each other in the community with respect.
No,
We require,
Yeah, we are required.
yeah, but we require to treat each.
no, to treat, no, it's gotta be something different.
We require that we treat each other and the community with respect.
There we go. One little word make the whole world a difference.
Treat each other and the community with respect. Okay.
Oh, you talking about the grammar? Okay. Syntax.
Okay, I mean, I'm definitely gonna send this out if you just want a lot more time this week to let it sink in. I know it's late. The
Oh, yeah.
next is service. Our decisions are constantly guided by our mission of providing services focused on public safety and quality of life, while also ensuring that our services are provided in an efficient and effective manner. Integrity encompasses a transparency and accountability that are born from a desire to do the right thing, even when times are difficult.
Did we
Okay,
change-
well, we got to stop using the word services. Go ahead, Marcia.
Are we on a different, can you go up a little bit? Okay, so service. Our decisions are constantly guided by our mission of providing. Well, I think we all understand the service is policing, right? But we're not using the word police.
Well, I think we should, because we got too much services in there.
Is there a reason why we don't use policing, Lieutenant Hubbard? Has it gone out of vogue to use that word or something?
No, actually, from listening to Lieutenant Nash last week, I was encouraged by what you said about how we're moving away from law enforcement because
That's what
our
it's
job
called.
is not just to enforce, it's policing, and that can mean many different things. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
see,
knew
I-
there was some shift that I just
Mhm.
heard about, and
See,
that's what it was. So let's use the word policing.
Can we
Mhm.
put constitutional policing?
Absolutely.
Because I don't want all policing.
That's true. And is it initial cap or is it lower case?
Probably, I don't know if did we. Oh, that was a preamble. I don't think we have a title of constitutional policing. I believe I got to make sure. I always thought the Constitution was always capitalized, but
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'll research that.
Focus on public safety and quality, but also ensures that our services, I think services work there, right, in an efficient, effective manner.
And I would put courtesy somewhere in there. Public safety, quality of life, insurance that our services are provided with efficient and effective. Efficient and
Efficient.
Deacon Lyles, were you alluding to like customer service type language?
Yeah, yeah. It's that, we don't have to shout and scream and call names and all that stuff. We can be courteous. Efficient, courteous, and effective.
Even when
Yeah.
times are difficult, I like that,
Yeah.
like give that extra respect. Say ma'am, say yes, sir. I mean,
Yeah.
So why is integrity down here? Why this sentence about integrity? Is this some holdover sentence from somewhere else?
Seems like we use that in someplace else. didn't we?
Oh, I know what happened.
Yeah.
He was testing us.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
awake or what?
I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. I'm gonna just cross it out, but not take it out, just in case it is right. And
It's some holdover from some other discussion.
it looks like it. Yeah. Okay. I think
Deacon said, I think we've seen this movie before.
yeah. Okay. So anything else for service? Decisions are constantly being.
Is mentoring part of teamwork?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Is what?
Oh, I was just asking, is mentoring considered part of teamwork?
I would,
was-
but
Yeah.
Can we say whether through mentoring, peer, supervisory, or command support, and mutual respect? Somewhere I would like the word mentoring dropped in.
sure.
And I think loyalty ought to be there too. I think
Yeah,
every
that's
officer ought
another
to be
good one.
loyal to the department in the city of Oakland.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
No, what? OPD expects loyalty, but does that mean blue line? Does
No,
it imply that?
you know, you bring up something. Let's take loyalty out of there.
Yeah,
It's always about interpretation.
Right. But why are you helping this rookie officer? Because I'm loyal to the department.
yeah.
Mhm.
Loyalty to him. That's what I was trying to, but that's the mentor, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Okay. All right.
Is it work collaboratively? Staff all work collaboratively or work together? I don't know. Is collaboratively a $2 word when a $1 word will work?
All work in collaboration.
That's work collaboratively.
Adverb. Yeah. I could take it either way. But we could use the KISS rule on this one.
Uh-oh, what is that?
You don't know the KISS rule?
I'm not sure that I do.
Keep it
Keep
simple. Keep it simple. I know that one.
Oh, KISS, keep it simple. Yes, I do
Yeah.
know that one.
Who
Well,
was
if
that
you use
guy?
collaboratively, you aren't going to use together.
Yeah, I just wanted to let it sit for a little bit, let you decide which one looks good. Which one looks good?
Who's the guy who had the razor? What is his name? Ogden's razor?
Occam's.
Occam's razor. Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep it together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then take out collaboratively. That's the $2 word.
Take this out.
I like to collaboratively, but together to achieve our common goal.
Occam's razor is the principle that suggests the simplest explanation for a phenomenon is usually the best one.
That's right. Mhm.
A $2 word versus a $1 word. Okay,
We got it.
I see you. Okay, guys, I walked in the door and this was what I walked in to do. How much more? I'm beginning to want.
This
Well, I mean,
satisfies. Yeah, that's it for this.
let's call it a night then. I'm fading
Yeah.
too.
I am too.
I think some excellent work.
Yes.
Excellent collaboration.
There you go. Use that word, girl.
That's right. Let's go with it. So look, you all have a good evening. Deputy Chief Hubbard, whenever you can get this stuff out will be great. Obviously, end of Friday will be fabulous. So people have the weekend, but I understand you got a lot coming at you. So just do the best you can.
And we appreciate you, man, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.